He's just playing low. He's in his head. He's in his head. He's open. His head wide open. Cracked open his face.
My room is a literal mess right now. My god. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mario Man 2100 back again with another update video again, well, yeah, technically an update video like 2 times in 2 weeks. Some things that I forgot to mention. I've got some new series coming up next year. I'm going to start recording very soon. But ultimately what this video is going to be, I'm wearing my NES controller cap today, is actually talking about the Game Awards and PlayStation Experience, because I didn't even know that was this week as well. But the Game Awards, yeah, basically they're gonna be having trailers at the PlayStation Experience and the Game Awards, so ultimately I'm gonna give my predictions. But first off, Mega Man 11, that was announced yesterday, and my god, it looks incredible. I didn't think Capcom were going to do it. I thought if there was going to be a Mega Man 11, it was going to look 8-bit, and then we were going to get, you know, a lot of us fans were going to get pissed off, but no, they're actually making a new Mega Man game and a new classic Mega Man game in the form of Mega Man 11, and it looks absolutely, it looks amazing. And even that music piece. That music piece is probably the best part of that trailer, because it's like, goddamn, it sounds so good. And if the soundtrack is anything to go by when it comes to that song, that's one song in the game, then the soundtrack is going to be really, really, really good. It might be on the level of Mega Man 2, might be that good. So realistically, the other things that they announced is that Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 are coming to the Nintendo Switch, which I think most of us seen coming. And realistically, Capcom said, oh yeah, we're kind of sorry that we didn't do that. It's like, well guys, you kind of knew about it, why didn't you do it? And it has amiibo support, so at least with Mega Man Legacy Collection 1, we can kind of understand what the amiibo support is going to be probably for the Nintendo Switch, because I'm pretty sure Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 came out on the 3DS, but the second one didn't. So we won't know what the amiibo support will be for Mega Man 7 through to 10, but if it's anything to go by on the original Mega Man Legacy Collection for the 3DS, it most likely will be like challenge missions and that sort of thing that just change the way the game is and that sort of thing. I don't know, I don't have Mega Man oh god, it's a mouthful apparently. Mega Man Legacy Collection for the 3DS, because I have the Mega Man amiibo, not the gold one, just the regular, because, well, why wouldn't I get a Mega Man amiibo? But I don't have that game, so I don't know what the amiibo support is in that. And we're also getting a Mega Man X 1 through 8 to the Nintendo Switch, most likely as a collection, because I don't think that Mega Man X6 and X7 and maybe some of the other X games like X4 and X5 would sell very well by themselves, especially Mega Man X7, even though I have bought that game, but I was curious, and it was one of my first Mega Man games that I actually bought. I think it's the first one I bought physical. So yeah, but this was a couple of years ago now, so yeah. But I still have it, yes, on the PlayStation 2, but I don't mind having it, because at least it's, you know, a Mega Man game that I have physical, because unfortunately, you know, NES, no Super NES, I do have a PlayStation 2, so realistically, if I was going to have anything, maybe the anniversary editions of Mega Man, that Mega Man Anniversary Collection thing for the PS1 or PS2, or Mega Man 8 for the PlayStation, you would think. But I know Mega Man 8 is expensive, and I know that the collection is expensive, so maybe that's why. But yeah, so I'm guessing it's going to be a compilation of X games, which leads me to believe that Mega Man 11 is only just the start of Mega Man stuff, and we might be getting a Mega Man X9, sorry about the background, there's a truck going by, Mega Man X9 on the way, either, 2019 or somewhere along the line, but I know that Mega Man 11 is coming out late 2018, which out of everything was actually the most surprising thing, other than the art style, because I was thinking if that game was coming out, that'd be coming out fairly soon, sometime in the autumn, maybe in the summer, in the US, but no, it's late 2018, so I'm probably going to say late October, the earliest, with like mid-December being the latest, I think, for that game. And I think it's only going to be, it might be digital. I hope it's physical, because I will buy it physical, but if it's digital only, that's going to suck. But I'm going to buy it on, at least on Nintendo Switch, probably buy it on my PS4 as well, I don't know. Just going to decide on that soon enough. So let's get into the Game Awards and PlayStation Experience. So ultimately Nintendo and a lot of companies like PlayStation, that sort of thing, are all tweeting about the Game Awards, that sort of thing. So starting off with Nintendo, probably the easiest thing that they could do for a trailer is show off the release date and what the second DLC is of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Sorry about that cut in transmission. I had to do a couple of jobs, and my sister just told me to do a couple of things, so I needed to do those first. So I'm back out in the lounge room. I'm going to play some Mario Maker pretty shortly. Play some of that, because I haven't played that for, well, actually since the first impressions video. I actually still have it, so thought I might play it again since then. But like I was saying, the easiest thing that Nintendo could do is do a trailer for the Breath of the Wild, the Champions Ballad DLC, which is supposed to come out this month. So we might get that, and we might get a release date. But apparently there is a Japanese-only Breath of the Wild stream going on. I'm not sure when, but it's sometime during December, I think, where I think they're most likely just going to be going over that, and maybe more DLC if that comes around to fruition. Other things that might happen at the Game Awards for Nintendo, maybe they might show off Pikmin 4 for the first time, since we've known about that game since 2015, I think, mid-2015, and we still have not seen it at all. And I know that Hey Pikmin is, like, even Miyamoto says that Hey Pikmin is not Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 is something else entirely. Sorry, that's my dad's watch going off. It really should be quieter than that. But anyway, so Pikmin 4 is apparently still a thing. It might be in development hell, but we might see that at the Game Awards. The thing that would make me happy, though, and I'm not sure if this is going to happen at all, they might show off a first look, maybe a little tease, of Metroid Prime 4 for Switch. And I believe that they could show it off a little bit, but I'm not holding out, I'm not holding out on anything when it comes to Metroid Prime 4, because we will eventually get information for that game eventually down the line. I'm not sure if it will come out in 2018. I believe that we might not. It might be the big game, but I think they might be focusing more on Pokemon, because I think that's the big game that they're going to focus on next year. They won't show that off at the Game Awards, because particularly Pokemon Company does their own thing when it comes to Pokemon, and especially with the Switch game, they're most likely going to hold it off at least anything, because Ultra Sun Ultra Moon's just come out within the last month, so they don't really want to hinder sales for that game in particular. Still haven't got to that game yet. In fact, I probably won't be able to get to that game this year when it comes to the countdown list. So ultimately that'll be there on the list, and I have it. I just haven't played it because I'm still going to play through Sun and Moon. So, and I haven't finished that game, so ultimately there's that. Other than that, for Nintendo, I don't think there's anything else other than maybe Smash, but that's only like a like 1% chance of actually happening. I don't believe that Smash could be announced. I mean, it would generate a lot of good hype towards the Game Awards if it was shown, but realistically, I know when it comes to this week, Mega Man just got announced. Like, a new Mega Man game for the first time in 7 years has been announced by Capcom. It could happen, but I'm not holding out on it just yet. Maybe January, I feel, is probably better for that, so then we get more news on it when it comes around to E3, because it might not be a early release for the Switch in terms of 2018 releases. That might be during the summer when Splatoon came out, maybe a little bit earlier than that. But as for Smash, I'm not holding out anything on that when it comes to the Game Awards. So let's talk about PlayStation, or in fact, let's actually just talk about Xbox in general first. I'm not sure if any Xbox will show off anything at the Game Awards. I'm not even sure if they're there. But I particularly think that the Xbox is going to have a problem leading into next year, and the reason I say that is because and the reason I'm on topic with this is that I see the ad for the Xbox One X on YouTube all the time when I'm watching any video in general. I mainly watch gaming videos, so of course the ads are more gaming related when it comes to those things that are focused on like gaming videos. But ultimately I get ads for like job researching, even though I have a job already, and like university and that sort of thing, which kind of makes sense due to Google knowing previously what my search history was. But I'm always getting ads for the Xbox One X. It's always a 30-second ad of the Xbox One X and its games, and a lot of them are like, I'm like, guys, these aren't, these are multi-platform games, what the fuck? And it's like the most powerful console ever. It's like, well, if you don't have exclusives, then what's the point in getting the game? Like, if it wasn't just, because I know that they've been doing this the last couple of years, they've been putting the games on their Xbox systems, but they've also been putting it on their Windows, Windows computers, as well. So, like, things like Killer Instinct isn't a, exclusive to Xbox anymore. It's also on PC. Halo 5, I believe, is also on PC. Gears of War 4 is on PC. Forza is on PC. And this is, Windows PC I'm talking about. I'm not sure about Steam when it comes to some of those exclusive in quotations games towards the Xbox systems in general. I think most of the multi-platform stuff will be on there, but I'm not sure about the exclusive stuff because they'll be more on Windows PC. But it's just like, well, if I got a Windows PC, what's the point of me getting an Xbox if I can get the games on PC? It just, to me, doesn't make sense, and they really need to pick up the game because the Switch is selling like crazy, and the PS4 is still in front by so much when it comes to sales compared to the Xbox One, and even the Switch. The Switch has only come out in March, and realistically it's doing as well, if not better, than the Wii did in its initial launch, which is fucking insane. I gotta say, like, Nintendo, good jobs, good props on that. I would clap, but one hand's on the camera right now, so I can't. So it's a clap with my shoulder. There we go. But yeah, like, it's selling like hotcakes, and it will probably overtake the Xbox One in general when it comes to that. The Wii U's always going to be like the least selling out of the three Generation 7 consoles, technically I would say, but when it comes to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch is catching up to the Xbox One at this point, and it's been out for less time, and that's saying something. There's a lot of exclusive games for the Switch, even at this point, even like 9 months on from when it launched, which is insane. It's almost pretty much as much, if not more, than the Xbox One has in its entire life cycle. I think it's pretty close. I think it's catching up the Switch, but including all the games that we know about that are coming, that are going to be exclusive to the Switch, it's going to overtake the Xbox One pretty soon. So when it comes to Microsoft at the Game Awards, I've got no idea. I've got no idea what they could show. They could show anything, but I'm not even sure if they're there. Sony. Okay, so there's a few games that Sony could go over at the Game Awards, but they could also go over at the PlayStation Experience. Before we get into that, indie games, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 indie games shown at the Game Awards. They always do that each and every single year. So we're going to have at least one of those show up, no doubt, in my mind. When it comes to Sony, there's a lot of games that could be shown at the Game Awards, but a lot of them could be shown at PlayStation Experience as well. So ultimately, the first game that immediately comes to mind is that Hideo Kojima is at the Game Awards, so we might see Death Stranding again. We might see another trailer for that game in general. We might even see gameplay for the first time for that game in general, because that game is supposed to come out. It hasn't got a date yet, but as far as I remember, some people were saying 2018 was that when that game was supposed to come out. But anyway, so we might see that at the Game Awards, considering Kojima is there. Probably even, I know he's a presenter there, so he's probably presenting one of the awards. But I wouldn't be surprised if he, shows a trailer for Death Stranding in general at the Game Awards. It's pretty much a safe bet, if there was any safe bets when it comes to Sony. Some of the other big games, there could be Spider-Man could show up. Last of Us Part 2 could show up. There's a few games that could show up, but a lot of these could go into PlayStation Experience as well. One game I'm not sure on is Final Fantasy VII Remake, and the only reason for that is that I want to see it at either of these two shows, but we haven't seen it in so long that I don't think it would show up at the Game Awards, but it would show up more so at the PlayStation Experience. But when it comes to that game, we haven't got much details on that game, like this year in general. I think we've only got a couple of screenshots, but we haven't really dived into Final Fantasy VII Remake a lot this year. And in terms of gameplay, we've seen nothing else except I think 2 or 3 screenshots at most for that game. So it's a bit weird. Excuse me. It's a bit weird, but if I'm going to say Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be anywhere, it's probably going to be at PlayStation Experience more so than the Game Awards. It'd be good for the Game Awards to get it, but I don't think that they're going to get it. I think that PlayStation Experience, since it's only a couple of days after, might get that trailer, if it indeed gets a trailer. Kingdom Hearts 3... I'm not sure. We've still got PlayStation Experience. We've still got Jump Festa. So I said, like, if it was a major event, maybe they might show Final Fantasy VII Remake at PlayStation Experience and show Kingdom Hearts 3 at Jump Festa, considering that Jump Festa is more aimed towards Kingdom Hearts in recent years when it comes to Kingdom Hearts games. So if Kingdom Hearts 3 is probably going to show up anywhere, it might be at Jump Festa, but I don't know whether it will show up this year or not, because, well, it might, because it's supposed to come out next year, which I'm still believing in, because Xenoblade was still being believed in to be coming out this year, and it did. So, and that was like, what, 9 months? Like, we didn't see that until the January event. So, like, 9, 10, 11 months they were holding out saying it, yep, it's coming out in 2017, and it did. So I'm kind of believing Square at this point, because they know that they've got to get this out before, or at least get it out before all of Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out, because that's, you know, I'd hate that Final Fantasy VII Remake would be all out, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 is still not out, and that would hurt me. God of War, it'd show up, I think, at PlayStation Experience, and there's a few other games that could show up at either events, but when it comes to the main games, I think Death Stranding is almost a safe bet to go with for the Game Awards. Final Fantasy VII Remake more towards PlayStation Experience if it's going to show up at all. Spider-Man might show up, you know, Insomniac's Spider-Man game. Other than that, I got no idea. So realistically, that's all the games that I can think could show up. There might be a surprise here or there when it comes to the Game Awards and PlayStation Experience in general, because we've had those for a couple of years, but maybe new Street Fighter 5 character when it comes to Arcade Edition, because that's supposed to be coming out in January at the PlayStation Experience, I don't know. Season 3 character, maybe more characters for Marvel Infinite, I don't know. But when it comes to those two gaming events, they're going to be big, and they're going to have a lot of traction when it comes to those. So those are my predictions on those, and like I said, there could be so many games that could show up. It's not funny. So with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's probably gone on for way too long. Yeah, probably about 20 minutes again. So like I said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This has been Mario Man 2100. You guys have a great day or night, and of course, take care.